Carlton. Carlton. Hello?
Oh,
Carlton?
yes,
Okay. Are you over 21? All
yes,
right. And are you a believer?
I am.
And which God do you believe in?
Yeshua.
Okay. So you believe he was the Jewish Messiah and God?
I believe he was the son of Yah, that um um he came to set us free from the mess we got ourselves into.
All right. So we didn't get ourselves into anything, but what is your evidence that your God exists?
It's a faith walk.
Well, faith is not evidence.
hmm I believe the scriptures. I don't believe. I believe there's definitely some errors, um, some things that have been removed. I
So,
do read some of the apocrypha books.
so
Um,
did Jesus fulfill Jeremiah 33?
Rehash that back to me. It's
So Jeremiah 33, starting at verse 14, says, "In the days are the days are surely coming, says the Lord, when I will fulfill the promise I made to the house of Israel and the house of Judah. In those days, at that time, I will cause a righteous branch to spring up from David, and he shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. In those days, Judah will be saved, and Jerusalem will live in safety. And this is the name by which it will be called: the Lord is our righteousness. For thus says the Lord, David shall never lack a man to sit on the throne of David, throne of the house of Israel. And the Levitical priest shall never lack a man in my presence, to offer burnt offerings, to make grain offerings, and to make sacrifices for all times." It's a little bit more after that, but I think that's enough.
mm. You saying, do I believe that has happened or is happening, going to happen?
Well, Jesus would have to fulfill this in order to be the Messiah.
Yeah, he took away that priesthood. He is the priest, now, the high
Okay, but
priest.
it says that, and the Levitical priest shall never lack a man in my presence, to offer burnt offerings and to make grain offerings and to make sacrifices for all times. So is there a Levitical priesthood that's making sacrifices right now and
No,
throughout Jesus?
no.
Then he is not the Messiah.
He was the last sacrifice.
But this says that there are going to be sacrifice of burnt sacrifice offerings and grain offerings for all times. So it's more than one sacrifice. This is for all times, continuation of sacrificing. Grain offerings. Is Jesus a grain offering?
No.
So then this offering is not fulfilled.
Hmm.
Did he sit on the throne of David as king of Israel and bring safety to Jerusalem?
I guess I haven't studied that. I haven't studied that. I
Most,
didn't.
most preachers won't bring this up, or they'll just read one line off of it.
Uh-huh.
But
Hmm.
so the branch that so in order to make Jesus a branch of David, you have to go through Joseph's lineage, right?
Yes.
Joseph comes from a lineage that was cursed to never sit on the throne of David.
Joseph. Joseph, you mean the Joseph from,
Jesus' daddy.
oh, Mary's Joseph?
Yeah, that.
Oh, that Joseph. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Because it, true or false, is that how Jesus' lineage is said to be from the house of David?
True.
But Joseph's line was cursed to never sit on the throne of David.
So, okay, well, what was his line? I don't know his line.
Uh, let me look up the name because I'm gonna mess up that damn name because I can never say it right. Uh, the line, the name is, it starts with a J. Well, it's Jehoiakim. Okay. So it's in the line of Jehoiakim, also called Jekoshani. I always seen the Jekoshani. I never seen the Jehoiakim part. Well, I ain't gonna say I've never seen it. I just didn't think about it. But it's in the line of Jehoiakim, which I believe goes through the line of Nathan.
Uh-huh.
And Jehoiakim's line is said to be cursed and can never sit on the throne of David. Let's see, that's Jeremiah 22. Oh, damn, it's in this. Hold on. So if you go to Jeremiah 22 down to verse 30, um, well, actually, verse 24, it starts out with saying that as I live, says the Lord, even if King Kohanan, I'm saying that name, Coniah, I should be able to say that, Konai, son of Jehoiakim of Judah, wear the signet ring on my right hand. So it talks about that king, right? But when you get to verse 30, talking about that king, he says, thus says the Lord. And this is the tetragrammaton, so it's talking about Yahweh. Record this man as childless, a man who shall not succeed in his days, for none of his offspring shall succeed in sitting in the throne of David and ruling again in Judea. Well, in Judah, sorry, in Judah. So it's saying that this line doesn't can never sit on the throne, and this is the line that Joseph comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So if the lineage of Jesus is determined through Joseph's line to say that he is of the house of David, he's from a line that can never sit on the throne.
Hmm. I see. Hmm.
And the fact that he didn't sit on the throne himself.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
So
Okay.
does he fulfill Jeremiah?
I'm not prepared to answer that. I'm gonna
Come
let you.
on.
I'm gonna let you move on.
You don't want to answer that because you know what the answer is. And I understand. I do understand.
Uh-huh.
Uh, because when I was going through my deconstruction phase, there were times where I got answers and I didn't want that to be the answer. And so I was like, let me go do some other research. And then I realized all I was saying to myself is, I don't like that answer and I want the answer to be this. So let me figure out a way that I can make the answer what I want it to be instead of just accepting the answers wherever it lands.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand because it's a hard thing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because we've been taught something, or you've been taught something, you believe in it, and challenging your beliefs are very difficult to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe there's an awakening happening, um, that we're seeing now things that we were taught were not the truth or the whole truth. Uh, a lot of things that are written, we take they're just tradition.
Yep.
It's not the truth, um, and we're coming. We've been westernized so much. Western Christianity, um, especially from slavery, um, and now there's awakening, and we're realizing who we really are.
Yeah, and we're realizing that we have absolutely nothing to do with this Middle Eastern religion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and all it really is, it's no different from this religion, from any other religion that was ever created anywhere else in the world. They were
Mhm,
all created by those indigenous people, and they were all just talking about themselves.
mhm,
Right?
mhm.
But it's been forced down the throat of of a third of humanity since the Roman government took over.
Oh yeah, Rome. Can't leave them out. They're the ones. Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
If Theodosius would have chosen Mithraism, then most of us would have been indoctrinated into Mithraism.
Hmm.
It's,
Hmm.
I mean, that's just the way it works in civilizations.
Yeah, yeah, religion. Yeah, that's. I'm not a religious person. Uh,
Mm.
I don't go by that. I don't go by Christianity. I'm not a Christian because they were called Christians. That was done in Rome. Rome, they called them that. But I do believe that Yahuda, whose name I just recently found out was not God, is not a name. Jesus was not the name. Jesus was. Um, we called him Jesus. We've always called him Jesus, but it's Yeshua or Yahuda.
Hmm.
Um, we were just taught that he was that picture that we've always imprinted in our head was the illegitimate son of one of the popes.
Yeah, that was I forgot his damn name that fast. I had his name in my head.
I
No,
did too.
I
I can't
understand
even
what you're
think of
saying,
it.
but
Um,
even the name Jesus is still talking about the same person of Yeshua. It's just an interpolation uh, because the Greeks didn't have a name that could translate Yeshua, so they
mm,
called him Ius because that was the closest they had to that name. The Latin then didn't translate from the Hebrew. The Latin translated from the Greek, so they turned Ius to Isus.
hmm.
And because the English has a translation for Yeshua, but because the Latin and the Greek was what was being used at that time frame, they just translated it to Jesus once the J came in.
Yeah, what's the J? Yeah,
It's
yeah,
still all talking about the same person of Yeshua. And oh, Caesarea Borgia. Thank you,
yeah.
Sam.
Caesar Borgia. Yes, yeah.
But yeah, so it's still talking about the same person, right? There's no difference in the person. The same person. They just couldn't translate it,
Hmm.
right? Uh,
Hmm.
just like my middle name is Dwayne, but in if I went to Japan, they wouldn't be able to translate that middle name because they don't have the W sound in their language.
Hmm.
So my name would sound differently, but they still talking about the same person,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So I wouldn't get too stuck on that part personally. I mean, I did for a while, but then
Hmm.
then I understood why it is that name and why you still refer to it. But yes, in English they should be referring to him as Yeshua. Actually, in English he should be referred to as Joshua
Yeah, Joshua. Yeah.
because that's what the name translates to in English is
Hmm.
Joshua. English is a Germanic language, so it doesn't hold the same issues as the Greek and the Latin, right? So we shouldn't have that problem. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, the Yeshua character still doesn't fulfill the prophecies of the Jewish Messiah, so he should not have been worshipped as the Son of God.
Hmm. Well, brother, I'm gonna leave on that.
All right.
I gotta roll.
You got to answer that phone that was ringing.
Yeah. All right, man.
Appreciate you.
All right, then.
Right. Started out with some rough conversations, but now they a lot better. They're a lot better. Y'all been doing a lot better. Oh man. Let's see. Did I miss any comments? But yeah, Caesarea Borgia. Hell, if I was the Pope and I was painting Jesus, I'd have my son being painted as Jesus too. Gonna keep my son in the limelight for all times. And when I talk about how the temple was destroyed in 70, you got to remember all these gospels was written pretty much right after the temple was destroyed. So of course I can write in there, oh yeah, Jesus prophesied this. If I'm writing after the events had already happened, I can easily make it into whatever I desire to make it. For example, uh, I can tell y'all right now, I predicted that my Atlanta Falcons was going to lose to San Francisco 10-20. I predicted that. I said that, and I could and I predicted that our primary linebacker was going to get hurt, and that was going to make a huge difference in our ability to play the game and be able to stop McCaffrey. And because he was out, McCaffrey was going to get over 100 yards rushing. See, I predicted that. See, I predicted that. If I'm saying it after the fact, I can always predict it. That's why we call it Monday morning quarterbacking. And that's all, and all the Gospels and Revelations and the writings of Paul are all written after the fact. So they can write whatever they want to write. As a matter of fact, I can claim right now that I had a vision from God last night. Came to me, and I got a deeper understanding of the Bible. Because that's all Paul did. That's all Paul did. Nobody verified it. Paul can't verify it. You can't prove it. Yeah. Now, Center Star just said it. If I were able to predict the score of my Atlanta Falcons game for next week when they go playing in Berlin, and I predict that game, then that would be a prophecy. But then if I predict it, it has to be exactly. Like if I say that next week, next Sunday, Atlanta is going to, I forgot who we're playing, but we're gonna play in Berlin, and we're gonna win 23-7. The score can't be 14-10. It can't be 28-21. It has to be, what did I say? 23-7 in order for it to be a correct